I would describe Smash Bros. Melee as perfectly imperfect. So, why do I say it this way? Well, if you know anything about Melee, you know it's an extremely technical game. There's so many like perfectly orchestrated functions and the gameplay that make it so like literally 3 of the characters are superior to all the other ones. Now, when you think of a Smash Brothers game or even any fighting game in general, it's pretty common to think, hey, there's this huge plethora of characters, so it only it must be pretty well balanced, right? I mean, if there are this many characters, designers of the game must have made it balanced so all the characters can have a fair chance, right? But with Melee, that assumption kind of goes out the window when you consider that this game was developed on a very short deadline, not to mention it was released when games were presumably designed with so much more simplicity. It was released in 2001 on the GameCube, so you can't expect it to be that meticulous. The reason I've been thinking about this is I've been playing this online game, Melee Lite. It's basically just a website adaptation of the game Melee. If you're wondering why I kind of suck in this footage, I'm only using keyboard controls. The more I play it, the more I wonder, was the game intentionally designed to have such intricate methods of having an unfair advantage over your opponent? Was it designed to have all of these exploits that you could use to make the game far more complex than it seems? Or was it all completely unintentional? I think it's probably a bit of both. And if you have no clue what I'm talking about, I'll show you exactly what I mean. In Smash Bros, you can do things in like normal attacks, special attacks, grabs, shit like that. Just the kind of stuff that is intentional to be used by the player. But Melee sort of has these technical exploits that you can use. Things like wave dashing, which is when you abuse the game's air dodge mechanic and dodge towards the ground in any certain direction. It basically makes you able to move across any surface much faster than if you were just using the regular controls. And since you're air dodging, your hitbox is pretty much invisible. You don't have a hitbox while you're air dodging. So you're basically moving across the map at twice the speed, and you're not able to get hit while you're wave dashing. It's fucking broken. There's also a plethora of other broken techniques and skills that you could probably find with a quick search. So if you're interested, go ahead and do that. But I'm not just interested in nerding out for all the complex technicalities of the game. However, I'm really curious just thinking about like, were these an intentional design to make the game as competitive as it is? Or is it completely just the players finding these exploits and using them so often that there's an entire competitive league? I mean, the entire competitive Smash Brothers scene was created off of Melee. It was started with Melee because of all these exploits, such as wave dashing. Or Shine. Now, if you're into Melee, you probably know all about Shine, but if you don't, it's a move that pretty much deflects all of the possible projectiles that any other character can shoot at their opponent, but it also knocks back the opponent down, which is literally a crutch for winning the game, because unlike most fighting games, it's not like a health bar. It's more so knock the opponent off this boundary, off stage, and you take one of their lives. And if you take all their lives, you win. So if you have a move that's literally able to knock an opponent directly down, then it's going to be pretty powerful. But with most moves like that, it also requires you to go down as the player, with things like mid-air attacks that strike the opponent down, things like that. But with Shine specifically, the character Fox, literally when you're doing Shine, it stunts your gravity, so you're not falling anymore while you're doing the move. So it's literally the easiest possible way to knock the opponent directly down. Plus, the character Fox can literally just jump straight out of doing this move. So you can literally spike the opponent and then immediately jump and get away and recover yourself so you don't die with them. And this, in combination with wave dashing and the fact that you can jump straight out of a Shine and wave dash right into another Shine, this is what makes Fox broken. And also the same thing with Falco, which is pretty much a clone of Fox with slightly different moves. But why am I saying all this? I mean, all of this information is old. This game is old. I mean, I could sit here and babble about specifics of what makes it so complex and competitive, but I'm more focused on the creator than the creation. You understand? If you found this video because you're diving into all the complex parts of this game and the competitive realm around it, I mean, just know that it's pretty frivolous and useless to just obsess over it. And that's what you're promoted to do with all these kinds of technical videos that do a quote-unquote analysis of the game. And to me, it's pretty pointless, but the only reason I've played this adaptation and I'm making this video about it is my own enjoyment of it. And while I have been playing it, I just had this questioning of like, are these designs intentional or not? But this concept goes far beyond Melee and far beyond any fighting game. I mean, I've already found sources that believe that, it's a bit of both. It wasn't, I mean, sure, these things weren't intentionally added, but they were intentionally kept and not changed because the players loved using them. Players loved exploiting the game in these ways, and that obviously makes it a lot more fun, a lot more competitive as well. But this concept of intentionality when it comes to creations, goes far beyond Melee, obviously. I mean, many other video games have exploits that you could find and use to your advantage. I mean, this is with most games ever. Even some of the first games had secret cheat codes. That's where the term cheat code comes from. But if you really start to think about this, this goes beyond any kind of game or any kind of creation by a human. I mean, life is a game. This existence is a game. I mean, there's so many ways to exploit it as well. And are these exploitations meant to happen in the sphere of this game that we exist in? Maybe not, but they're also not meant to not happen. Is it? And this raises the question, is anything meant to happen, or is everything just a factor of our free will? Knowledge is power, and those who have knowledge of like fucking wave dashing and these technical things in Melee, they're gonna have an advantage in the game. But those who have knowledge of the way nature and humans and organisms all operate, people with this knowledge will thrive more and more as they have and obtain more and more wisdom about these things, about everything. For example, the knowledge of, I mean, energies that we have. Well, what is energy? When you hear the term energy recently, it's like this spiritual bullshit kind of idea, but energy is literally energy. It could be atomic energy, and that's the root of it. All of these subatomic particles creating energetical frequencies which make atoms. And it goes all beyond that. And there's so many variations. There's electrons and protons and so much complexity beyond and beyond. And you could say these are all exploitations. Or, better yet, you could call them creations. Because what exactly is a creation without exploiting something? If you are meant to create something, you are meant to, most cases, you must exploit something else. For example, to create this video, I'm exploiting many different softwares that other people have created. But it is my creation, nonetheless. You see how that works? And on the topic of energy, I mean, all of your creation, everything that you create is energy. This is energy. This video. And if you are, scrolling through videos mindlessly or diving into the competitive content of Melee, that's specific, or Smash Brothers, or video games, or whatever it might be that you're seeking in this material place. You're seeking material fulfillment. Don't look at the material, look at the creator. Don't look at the creation. But what is the creator? It's life. It's the creator of all this content that you're seeing, like me. And there are so many creators beyond that. There's whatever gives us life. But what is life? What is it exactly? It's this beauty. Like, this content is beauty. You watching this is beautiful. The act of you sitting there or standing there or whatever, viewing this content on whatever device you may be viewing. All of it is beautiful. But even more so, I want you to think of like these moments that we have where we're really thinking, such as I am now, or maybe you are now by listening to me. These moments of realizing that all of this is worthwhile. And anything could trigger that. It could be the sun beaming on us, it could be faces that bring certain feelings. It could be scents that we smell that bring us back or forward to certain times or certain places or certain situations. All of these moments are priceless and timeless, and they're so elusive. They're gone in an instant, but fortunately, all of these moments will always come back. These enjoyments and worthwhile feelings that we have will always come back to us, even if they're different every single time. But it will come back time and time again. And this is truly the philosophy which I wish to share with you, as well as my personal interest and thoughts in the game, Melee specifically. But anyway, I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. It would help me exponentially. And if you do, then I'll certainly give more of my content and my thoughts and my energy to all of you because you deserve it.